Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoint and welcome back to another video. And today I'm unboxing the new 2021 C1 OLED from LG, and this is the 77-inch version. Now this is going to be my unboxing and my first impressions of this TV. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over what's included, the setup process, and some of the new features that we're getting on this 2021 model. Then over the coming week, I'm going to do a follow-up video, a deep dive into the settings once I've used it for movies and gaming, plus I can give you a more detailed review. So this is the box and it's absolutely massive. Now I've actually put the dimensions on screen so it gives you an idea of just how big this is, and also if you are picking this TV up from a store you might want to know whether it will fit in your car. Now on the box it mentions some of the TV specs, and that includes things like it's a self-lit OLED, it's using the new A9 Gen 4 chip, and it supports Google Assistant, Alexa and Apple HomeKit. But let's get this opened up and let's take a look at the TV inside. So we need to remove the packing clips which are around the outside of the box. We've got the straps across the top, and then we've got the final thing which is the tape that we need to remove. Then inside the box, once we've removed all of the packaging, you can see here that it reveals the TV inside of its protective cover. And this is what it comes with inside the box. So you've got a two-part stand, so you've got the front and the back, and this is available in either silver or a very dark grey. So that's the one that I've gone for, and that depends on the model that you go for. Then there's the manuals and the setup information. Then you've got some screws, and that's used for the stand and the mount. Then you've got a back plate for the TV. And then you've got a remote control and some batteries, and that's pretty much it. Now for this video I'm actually going to mount the TV onto the provided stand, even though I usually wall mount my TVs. Now this means I can show you how to install the stand, which might be useful to you, but it also means I can turn the TV around and show you the rear. So this stand is a two-part. You've got the block here, which goes at the back of the TV, and that's what supports it, and this is really heavy. This actually weighs about 9 kilograms. And then you've got this bit at the front. This is the lip, the metal part. This will go across the front of the TV. As you can see here, it's quite nice, it's metal. Again, I've gone for the dark grey one, and it's got the LG OLED branding on the corner. So all you need to do is slot the metal plate into the back plate, screw the 3 screws in, and it's good to go. Then installing onto the TV is pretty straightforward. Now you can either lay it down on a flat surface, like a table, or even the box that it came in, or you can stand it up if you've got a couple of people willing to help. Now I decided to stand it up, it was far easier for me, so I stood it up on the table, and I just screwed those final screws in. And that's it, it's now ready to move over to my TV cabinet. So if you're looking at the 77-inch version of the C1 this year, you might be interested in the stand dimensions because you might want to know whether it will fit on your TV cabinet. So on screen I've put the dimensions, that includes the width, the depth and the height between the cabinet and the bottom of the TV. So let's take a look at the rear of the TV. Well, the first thing we need to do is remove the protective film from the top. Now this just peels off, revealing a nice matte black panel. But if you go for the silver TV, well this panel will actually be white. So all of the internal power and processing, well that's actually hidden away in the bottom third of the screen in this big kind of box area. Now there are some small vents across the top as well, so make sure you don't block this. Now on the left side there's the non-removable power cable. This is something that we've often seen over the last few years of the LG TV, so once again, unfortunately this power cable cannot be removed. Then on the bottom right we've got the rear and the side ports available, and that includes 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, and they all support 4K at 120Hz. Now one of these are actually labelled as eARC, and that allows you to send audio to and from your AVR or your soundbar. Then there are 3 USB ports, an Ethernet port as well as Wi-Fi. Then there's the optical out, a couple of antennas for TV and satellite, and we've got the headphone out port as well. And then in the centre, on the actual back of the stand, there's actually a small cable management channel. And this is where you can hide your cables so you can actually cover them up. And then there's a back plate. So that's something that was included before that we didn't install. So you can actually pop that on now, and that will cover up the screws when we fitted the stand. So in the centre of the TV, we've got the VESA holes. Now I've actually put the dimensions on screen here because if you were wall mounting the TV like I will do, you might be interested in knowing what the dimensions are from the holes to the bottom of the TV, and from the holes to the top of the TV. And this might help you actually be able to wall mount your TV and position it without having to try and lift it up and guess. And this is how big the TV is. So obviously if you look on the LG website you will find some of these dimensions. So the height and the width and maybe the depth you'll be able to find. But there are some other dimensions here that might be of interest to you. So if this is, make sure you pause the video now and kind of take a note of these ready for your own setup. So the overall look of this TV is really impressive. The edge of it is just so thin, it's almost paper thin. But right, let's get this TV turned around and take a look at the front. Now the protective film that you'll see that covers the screen is very, very reflective. Now the first time you see this, it might surprise you in thinking this is how reflective the TV is. But once we remove this, you'll actually see that the screen behind it is actually quite dark and it's very tinted in comparison. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly show the remote control that we're getting this year. So it is very different to the ones that we've seen previously. It's got a kind of a flatter design in both the look and the feel, and it definitely feels and looks smaller as well when comparing it to last year's. But I really like this. The scroll wheel as well in the centre, that feels a lot firmer than what we've had before. So we've got some new quick access buttons at the bottom, and that includes things like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Disney Plus, as well as Google and Alexa. Now I'll cover some of this in my full review, but if you want a side-by-side comparison of the C1 against the C10, as in the actual TVs, not just the remotes, let me know in the comments, because what I might do is I might actually do a head-to-head of the two TVs and show the full differences and kind of, is it worth upgrading? So turning it on for the first time, you will be presented with the WebOS logo. Now this TV is running WebOS 6.0, and this is a new operating system for the 2021 TVs. It's not something that you'll see on the 2020 models. Then going through the setup procedure, including connecting to Wi-Fi or a wired network, accepting the terms and conditions, and the usual setup procedure. Now I don't have an antenna in the room, so I won't be setting this side of it up. So if you're using the internal TV speakers, you'll then want to choose which TV type you're using, and this will have an impact on the sound settings. So if you have it wall mounted or if you place it on the stand, make sure you choose the one here. So for me, obviously I'm using the stand option, so I will choose that option. So my advice here is the first thing you want to do is make sure you're on the latest update. So go to settings, click on check for updates, and you can see the version that I'm on here. Now this update only takes about 10 minutes to do, but it's definitely worth doing first. And this is the new home dashboard. So this is where all of the inputs and other devices will show up. Now I've got a couple of things plugged in already, like the PlayStation 5 and an Apple TV, but I've still got a few more things I need to add. But this looks really, really clean. It's really user friendly. Okay, so this is the new home screen. This is the new app launcher. And this is kind of like a full screen view of all the apps you've got installed in a kind of tile or grid format. Now this is totally different to what we've seen on the 2020 models. They used to have that kind of quick launcher across the bottom, but it also shows you what's trending across whichever apps you have installed. So I really like the look of this. And then there's the new App Store, where you can search and download any of the new apps that you like. So this didn't load for me the first time that I actually opened it up. So what I had to do was I had to turn the TV off at the wall and then back on again, and then it did work. So you might need to do the same. Also, some great news, if you're in the UK, we have got all of the UK streaming apps back. So if you've got a C10, you'll know that it launched last year. We didn't get any of these services, so it's great to see them on day one on this TV. Then there's also all of the normal apps that you would expect, like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Disney Plus and Apple TV. Okay, and this is what the new menu looks like. So when you press the settings icon on the remote, this is what you'll see on the left-hand side. So you can see all of your picture settings and various other settings in the TV. So I think the overall look and feel of the menu and the home screen of the new TV is really nice. It feels a lot sharper and a lot cleaner. Now I do like this a lot. Now I was actually a little bit worried that I would miss the pop-up app launcher across the bottom that I've been so used to over the last few TVs. But yep, I can definitely get used to this new window. So I was going to show you what picture settings that I'm using across the TV for things like Netflix and the PlayStation 5, but I've not really used it long enough yet, and especially haven't used it long enough in the daytime and the nighttime to get the settings just right for me. But if you're interested in knowing what picture settings I do end up using, let me know in the comments, and what I'll then do is I'll include it in my next video that I'm going to do next week when I do the full review. But as a start, I am using the Filmmaker or the ISF Expert Bright modes, and what I then do is I turn the energy saving mode off. I also turn off True Motion, and I just tweak the OLED brightness very slightly. I just bring it down by 5 points. So what are my first impressions of the C1 OLED, the 2020 model OLED? I think it looks awesome. Now the new remote is really nice, and I like the interface upgrade as well. I like the home screen and I like the app launcher. I like that a lot. Well, that was a quick look and unboxing of the 2021 C1 OLED from LG. Now, if you want to see more content about this TV, make sure you subscribe to the channel, as next week I'll be doing the full review, and I'll also show the gaming mode as well. Now, I'll most likely show things like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X gameplay on it, plus what picture settings that I end up using. Now, let me know in the comments. Are you interested, or are you looking at the C1 or the G1 for 2021? Or are you using an older or a different model of TV and you're just not interested in upgrading yet? So if you have any questions at all about the C1 OLED or something that you want me to show in the next video, please drop those in the comments, because I do try and read every single one. So if you've got a good enough suggestion, the chances are I will include it in next week's video. But you've made it to the end of this video, so thank you for watching. If you drop a C1 OLED in the comments, I will give you a thumbs up, as I know you're still here. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on so you don't miss my next video. You can also follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. Until next time.